Mic check. Mic check. Alright, we are fine and ready to go here for Belgium. Alright, we are fine. And now we can turn the microphone off for that. Cool. Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jamie Perry, but you can call me Helix Breezy or just Helix, however you want to pronounce my name. It is round 4 for lovely F2 division here at Belgium. It's looking very good, very exciting. Good couple of names potentially going to win, and a potential podium and potential people who can crash. It is Spa, it is Belgium. No matter how you want to name it, it is probably one of the most historic tracks on the F1 grid, so it's a very exciting time here in the F1 paddock here for all the F1 fans and all the fans of House of Racing. So, it is really just about waiting. It's the big thing right now, just waiting until we are ready to go. I think we've still got a couple of drivers joining, so anyway, how are we all? How are we all? If anyone would like to speak in chat, you would like to do it now, because I do not really speak too much while I am commentating, just to focus on the race itself. Hainsey, hi Helix, how are you, mate? I am lovely jovely here down under for the Spa GP. I said down under for Spa GP, but I live down under. Boo, F2, we want F1. Well, I can give you good news. I am co-commentating with Ryan, hopefully actually co-commentating with Ryan for F1, so this is not the last time you will hear me. So, hello. But yeah, Hainsey, to answer your question, I am doing fantastic. It is a lovely evening here in Australia, but it's a great afternoon over in London time, over in GMT, and I am very excited for this race, very excited to see what the F2 drivers can do, can achieve. So, yeah. We're just getting the final people just joining, and then it's good to go. By the way, it's Nano, don't want confusion. Oh, hello Nano. Ba. Yeah, I'm going to be co-coming with Ryan for F1, so... Oh, that is weird. I'm the only one in the... What the hell? We seem to be having some technical issues on server side. We're currently in Discord and everything's being answered right now. This is very confusing. Okay. Oh, we've been invited to a new... It's fine, we've been invited to a new game. I have to leave, and then I have to rejoin. That's the confusion. It will disappear in a moment. Boo Jenga boy, we want Jordan. Same happened to me, Helix. I'm the only one in the lobby as well. That was weird. Yeah, of course it's doing this thing. Might need to get an individual invite right now. I need to get an individual invite. Do. I don't really know what to do right now. This is very awkward. I hope the race hasn't started because it seems all races have still been kicked and we've been. Let's hopefully see this one work. I'm sorry for the amount of blue screens that you are currently facing and black boxes in the corners. Everything will disappear and hopefully it will be race time in a moment. We've now been invited to a game at Bahrain. Nah, it's gonna switch to Spa, it's fine. I think we should be good this time. We hope. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It seems I've now started stream a bit early. I was on time and then I was off time. Yeah. So, from what Jenga Boy has said, it's apparently a lobby crash. So, we are back on track. Cool. Okay. Like nothing happened. It was just a weird glitch for half a second. We are back for Spa, for Belgium, for the 4th round of Formula 2. I'd say some early predictions. I think Alfie could win. Marco could probably be a very good contender. Who else? Sponge Star had a pretty bad race with Ultra, or not Ultra, whoever else was in the Haas. And honestly, for his debut it wasn't great, so I'm sure he wants a bit of redemption, and I'm sure he wants to actually make a name for himself and really pick up the pace. So is Daverapters gonna be here? Because he was your previous race winner. I'm not sure. After Silverstone, Sponge Star will do horribly. He is shocking. #Mazepin, says Hainsey in the Twitch chat. We will have to wait and see, I guess. It's just really about... I mean, it could have been a one-time thing. It could have been because of them, both the Hasses just fighting incredibly hard with each other. It could be a multiple-time thing, and you could be right. He could be the next #Mazepin. It really is about what he can achieve here in Belgium today with the 22 laps of racing ahead of us. Thirst quenching. Have we said ready? It seems like it. And we might be getting going now, seeing how many people have readied up. Pretty much everyone. And it seems it's go time, ladies and gentlemen, for Formula 2 this weekend. Timer runs out. Everyone now is forced to ready up. And we head to one of the most historic tracks on the Formula 1 grid for House of Racing. We head to short quali. And the weather is looking nice and bright. A bit cloudy, but nice and bright, nice and sunny. And it's going to be dry weather for pretty much the whole weekend for F2 and F1, so it should be an exciting time all around. And maybe not as many safety cars as usual because of it. So that's telemetry off. Lap data on, track map full. Lovely. Okay. So, who will be the first one out of the pit lane for Formula 2? Everyone currently waiting. I'm sure they're actually loading in, and then eventually when they've loaded in, it will be go time. So everyone currently in the pits, I'm sure picking out their strategy, picking out how they're gonna get it all done, and then it's go, go, go. Normally someone would be gone from now. Are we sure this is not another internet issue? I'm a little scared because no one's done anything for a little bit. Let me go over to Discord. Nope, we're fine. Ladies and gentlemen, it is go, 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 go here at qualifying. So, if I'm not wrong, it was the Alfa Romeo of Gabby who comes out of the pits, and he comes through Radion up Eau Rouge. Actually, I got that wrong. Eau Rouge up onto Radion, then up into the Camel straight. And it is go, go, go for qualifying. 17 minutes left on the clock. You need to pick your timing for that braking perfect. You make sure not too much of that car is going onto that curb. Nice sweeping corner. This is all about how quickly you get back on that throttle for the next couple of corners. Then it's pedal to the metal, full throttle all the way down until Pouon, which in 2020 the controversial W11 was able to go full throttle out without having any hesitation at all. And speaking of Mercedes, there is Dima Pitbrad having a much quicker outlap than the Alfa Romeo of Gabby. Here is IRT Kia in the Red Bull making away some corners. Alfa Romeo seems to have had a little incident, but he's back and moving. Ferrari of Desit. So let's go to Dima Pitbrad, because they're about to cross that timing line, and it is time to go here for Spa. Going into the first corner, keeps it nice and loose, make sure he can get nice rotation into the corner. Then it's full throttle up the famous Eau Rouge, which then goes into Radion, up into the Canal straight here at Spa Francorchamps. If I'm not wrong, that was someone retiring, if I'm not wrong. So, exciting times here at Formula 2. Merck also did full throttle through Pouon in 2018. Very interesting. Okay, well, speak of Mercedes in the Twitch chat. Nice and smooth through the corners goes Dima Pitbrad. Eventually back, pedal to the metal, full throttle, brakes nice and late for Pouon. Just a couple of quick taps before back on full throttle going into the chicane. You have to get nice and close to that apex so you don't ruin your next exit at the next bit of the chicane, and then eventually it all becomes nice and fast, because eventually it becomes much more about straights than corners. We have another yellow flag. I'm sure that's just a Ferrari letting someone go, but the Mercedes of Dima Pitbrad went purple but now has red on their track map. Sponge Star, who last race didn't have the greatest of times, was fighting with his teammate, had multiple collisions, and I don't think we really got to see his full potential. So we come to Spa, nearly mid-season for Formula 2, and it's all about what every driver can achieve, and for SpongeStar to prove what he can really achieve as a driver. And Gabby goes with a 1:44.9. Sorry, I didn't bring it up earlier. That's a really good time for Spa, especially on their first lap, which is also counted as a boat lap. And nearly 3 seconds behind is the AlphaTauri of Smoky Wisp. So very interesting. So SpongeStar on his non-out lap comes around the final corner, and he is able to set a 1:46.5, and it seems Gabby has created a very good gap around here. The Ferrari getting another yellow flag, not letting a car by, but maybe just braking a little too late. So here comes the Red Bull of IRT Kia on his out lap, making sure to get those tyres nice and warm, ready for his fast lap. Let's see someone who isn't on their fast lap, for example, Dima Pitbrad, who's gone red map again. This is not going very well for the Mercedes. Apart from that, everyone else is just kinda, I guess, in the pits or on an out lap before their final lap or their first lap actually gets going. Let's spectate Jono here. He is currently P6, but that really doesn't matter because he hasn't set a lap among a lot of other drivers. So, nice and clean through that. And it is pedal to the metal, full throttle. And IRT Kia has retired. And the closest man to the Red Bull, who we may be able to see, is the McLaren. And Kia has retired. I don't even know what's happened. We won't really get a good look unless we can see through the McLaren of Jono. So he's unfortunately disappeared into the void. IRT Kia is going to start at the back of the grid. He DNFs. That is going to be very interesting. So, Stefan in the Twitch chat has said, who do we think is going to win? I think there's a couple of drivers who could win. Maybe Olaf, maybe Marco, maybe SpongeStar if he can pick up his pace from Silverstone. Anyone could win. Maybe it's Dima Pitbrad. It could literally be anyone. Right, let's go to Scotty Boy in the Alfa Romeo. Get a nice cockpit cam here, or at least a TV pod cam. He's one of the people who isn't on an out lap or in the pits. He's currently going through second sector, and he gets a red as we start spectating him, and that is lap over for the Alfa Romeo. And we seem to be having some F2 announcements. Okay, so to announce it, because I guess as a commentator I am the person who gets to the rest of the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, the qualifying session we are currently on will keep going. But once qualifying is completed, we are going into a custom lobby because of issues that have been happening with the internet and a lack of drivers who have been able to join because of invite issues. That is all the news I have for you right now. So we just need to continue commentating for quali before anything else happens. And it seems everyone else, anyone that isn't on an outlap or in the pits, has now got a red track map. So it is not going well for a lot of drivers. You know what is going well for a lot of drivers? The man who has just got purple in the second sector and is continuing to show a decent amount of speed through the third now. Oh, and he costs his lap, and that's a red map, meaning his lap has been cancelled. And you can see the McLaren comes into the pits, and that was a purple on the second sector, and I'm sure that was going to be a very interesting lap to pay attention to. Let's go to Demon Pitbrad here, who is on fresh compounds and is gonna cross the line to start their lap, obviously, or is it? Oh no, it's a 146.1. No, starting their lap now. So the Mercedes of Dima Pitbrad, who has been unlucky with track limits, starts hopefully the lap that can set a time on the board. Up Eau Rouge, which takes them into Radion, then into the Canal Straight. And the Mercedes seems to have decent speed. DRS flap does open. And now going into the braking zone, you want to ideally brake at that 50 meter, making sure to carry as much speed through that chicane as possible. Then eventually braking again and eventually going again. Pedal to the metal, full throttle, down into the very long leaning corner. Make sure you can pick when you accelerate, when you tap that brake, and then you tap the brake there and it's go again into this corner. And now you brake just after the 50 meter going into Pouon. And keeps it just inside track limits, and this Mercedes is setting a very fast lap potentially. Coming up to the end of the second sector, nice and smooth through the chicane, not too many issues. It seems Haas is letting a couple drivers by that yellow flag. Mercedes nice and clean, and yes, I was correct, nice and clean indeed, because they go purple in the second sector, and it seems Dima Pitbrad is setting this track on fire with the current lap they're on. They only have a couple corners left. They just have to make sure not to go over track limits. Going into the chicane, brakes perfectly on that apex, onto the second apex, and our fourth lap is finally going to be set. Crosses the timing line and gets a 145.7, just not close enough for provisional pole. And Gabby has set an incredible lap currently on provisional pole, and it seems the Alfa Romeo is having an amazing quali, but it seems the current lap they were on was not so good. So let's go to Spongestar in the Haas, who is currently on his fast lap. It says 3 minutes up in the top, it probably isn't correct. Comes into one apex, goes into the second, nice and clean, keeping as much pace as possible. Crosses the timing line with a 146.548. Won't be able to improve. Oh, sorry, he does improve, but it's not going to be enough for provisional pole or P2. And I think he's going again. He's just going straight again. No outlap, no saving tires or fuel. It's just go straight again. So, MoneyGram, Haas F1 team up the Canal Straight here at Spa. DRS flap wide open, comes into the braking zone. You need to keep as much pace into that chicane as possible, nice and smooth from the Haas. Comes out of the couple of corners, looking very smooth. We'll come back to Spongestar in a little bit. Let's go to Smoke Wisp in the AlphaTauri. 2 lap old tyres, gets a 148.4, 7/10 up, and obviously isn't improving by a lot, and that's the Alfa Romeo with the yellow flag. So with the McLaren and the Ferrari, and I was right, there was a collision this time, and the McLaren and the Ferrari has had some type of collision with each other, and that is the McLaren of Jono, who seems to be the more affected one out of the bunch, and that has not gone well for the McLaren. So let's go to the Williams, of Marco, who seems to be having a great time through that corner. So that will probably be a lap over for him. Let's go back to Smoky Wisp, going 2/10 up, not good enough for a purple first sector. Now it's pedal to the metal, full throttle all the way into the winding corner. Try and keep it as close to that apex so you can gain as much time as possible. Tap that brake through there, make sure not to go over, which he does, and that is lap over for Smoke Wisp. Spongestar also got a red track map, meaning his lap was over. So Scotty Boy does the same, and Dima Pitbrad is in the pits. It's your boy Alfie in the Mercedes, someone who hasn't got a red track map so far, looking pretty decent so far, and has to brake, I think, one more downshift than other drivers through that chicane. Now through these couple of corners, and I mean, no issue there, doesn't need to lift, doesn't need to brake, it's just full throttle with the amount of mechanical grip that these F1 cars produce. And doesn't go purple in the second, but Will he be able to go purple in the third, maybe set a decent lap time? He's currently P3 with a 1:45.6, and no, he comes into the pits. Let's see Scotty boy here. Nope, got a red track mat. Unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo, but it seems that the track limits around here are very tight and very hard to control. Marco Angelo in the Williams, 8/10 down so far. It's not looking too good for him. Comes around the final chicane here at Spa, and he comes into the pits. And a lot of people in the pits so far. Sponge start with a red track mat for the second lap in a row, and I'm sure it's going to be infuriating for the Haas driver, who seemed to be setting this track alight at one point, so still needs to set a better lap, and I'm sure he can do it very soon. He just needs to buckle down, get his head down, and really start to focus, and I wouldn't be surprised if most drivers are coming into the pits now. This is the point in time where they get the tyres back on, they refuel and get ready for their final fast lap, and then we will move to a custom lobby because of internet issues for the 50% race here at Spa for Formula 2. So Smokey Wisp with a red track map. Unfortunate for the AlphaTauri, but it's going to be interesting for the race, knowing how difficult it is for track limits for someone to keep it inside the white lines. How are they going to handle it when penalties could be applied, when it isn't just a lap being deleted? Race will be 25% now due to the delays. So official announcement by Jenga Boy in the Twitch chat. Unfortunate through there, but things do happen. So it's looking more like a one-stop for everyone now, and it means less difficulty for the people up at front, which, by the way, Gabby has set an exceptional lap. Just under a second above the Haas of Ultra. What a lap the Alfa Romeo has been able to set, and will cross the timing line with a 1:44.946, and it seems he's improved, or if I'm not wrong, is about to start his lap. I'm not too sure. Either way, down through the straight, up Eau Rouge, into Radion, then into the Canal, straight, and then it's now full throttle, and the famous quote David Croft once said, here, through goes Sebastian Vettel. I've mixed up through goes Hamilton from 2022, so my apologies through there. Here comes Sebastian Vettel was the quote. Couple of gear shifts down for Gabby, who is currently on provisional pole and has currently gone quicker in this first sector. So right now the Alfa Romeo has been setting the track alight. Every single corner that they drive on, every single straight that they press that throttle on, they have been dominating in. They had a couple of upsetting laps because a lot of drivers have been going over track limits, just like Gabby did a couple of times. But overall, it's been very consistent from the Alfa Romeo. Very clean, goes purple in the second, and this lap could be the money maker. Could be the lap to finish it all, to put the bullet in the skull. Comes around the final corners, doesn't go over the curb at all, nice and clean, goes into the braking zone, into the final chicane, before finally coming around the final corner. Sees the timing line, 2 seconds left on the clock, a 1:44.2, and Gabby actually goes over the line, so they could do another lap if she wanted to, or if he wanted to, my apologies. And I think he's going again. So a lot of people go over the checkered flag already because of them being in the pits, and it means that they won't be able to improve on their laps. So let's go through some people who haven't crossed that checkered flag yet. People like the McLaren of Jono. He is on fresh compounds. It's his first fast lap to actually set a lap as well. It doesn't seem to go purple in the second. Can he go purple in the third? It's really just a question about what he can go full throttle into the final chicane here at Spa. It's your boy Alfie, goes P2. seems to have been was able to improve on their lap. Crosses the line, goes Jono up into P3. What a lap by the McLaren. Jeez, what a leap. And Ultra falls down to P4 and will not be able to gain any more time because of the red track, meaning that is your grid complete, ladies and gentlemen. That is everyone over the line, even if they're not actually over the line. That is it. So Gabby sticks it on provisional pole by pretty much 8/10 more than the Mercedes of It's Your Boy Alfie in P2. Exceptional lap from the Alfa Romeo. And now we need to go to a custom lobby that is 25% because of little issues we've been having. Wow, what a qualifying, what a way to start on pole here at Spa, here for one of the most historic tracks on the F1 grid here for House of Racing. Regain my thirst, 20 seconds, another invite to at 20 seconds quali will end, and then eventually a custom lobby for 25% race with all the normal regulations for Formula 2 will be created, and then I guess it will just be go, go, go for Spa. So very exciting times. And then, of course, we have the F1 race at 1 AM Western Australian time, and it is 5 PM GMT. I thought I'd just bring that up just to know what time I have to commentate at. Smiley face. I actually like it, so. Right, I should probably leave, seeing that the race isn't actually happening. So we quit to main menu because pretty much no one's here anymore. So it is race time. The qualifying has been completed. Gabby does stick it on pole, but we have to wait for Jenga Boy to send out invites for a 25% race in a custom lobby. So we may be here for a couple of minutes before we get going. I'll make sure to quickly check Discord just to make sure everything is correct and we haven't made any mistakes. Yep, so Jenga's pretty much making one right now. It's going to be a 25% race. It's going to be a dry race, obviously, like it was before. Got a couple of comments coming out. The 50% would have been on inters. Oh, interesting. Oh, must have not been paying attention to the weather forecast. My apologies. And ladies and gentlemen, the invite has been sent out. I'm sorry if you can't see any. We're just getting invited to the lobby for the race. So the only issue about this is that it's going to be 25%. We're not going to have any intercondition weather. And that's about it. Quali is not affected. Whoever was on pole, which was Gabby, will stay on pole with a 144.2. And it's just about the race now. So it's going to be an 11 lap race instead of the 50% race. And it's unfortunate, but internet issues do happen and stuff like that does occur. So unfortunate, but it's nothing new in racing. It's a bit switch to spectator mode. Make sure we don't pick a team. So now we just wait for everyone to join in the server, and then it's go, go, go. The lights will go out, and then it's racing at Spa Francorchamps. So for anyone who is interested for Formula 1, I will be co-commentating with Ryan or Wicked Red. but he will be the one that's being the main commentator. I'm just there for the ride, co-commentating. So you're going to hear more of his voice than my voice next time around. So, it is all about just letting people join, and then we go, and then it's race time. Hopefully there's not too many safety cars. Hopefully it isn't like a 9-car incident, everyone DNFs, and that's the end. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually restart because of it. Impatient times, I'm sure everyone will have to understand the situation, but we all sometimes get technical difficulties, so it's just how you handle the situation. Not much to talk about, sorry if I was going quiet for half a second. Just waiting for everyone to join, and then race begins. So it's just waiting for everyone to join, then we ready up, and then it's go, go, go. Kind of repeating myself, but not much else to talk about at the moment when you're just kind of in a lobby waiting. Let's have a bit of a drink, and then we will be ready to commentate for 11 laps. And hopefully for F1 we don't have similar issues and we can have the 50% race, unfortunately not like F2. "13 drivers, if I'm not wrong, that is it, or at least one more, and then it's pretty much go time." Hope everyone is swell, and it's a very exciting time. It's race day for F1 and F2, obviously F2 at the moment. We're nearly there. We are nearly there. I'm sorry for the people who have had to wait and are a little impatient. I completely understand. But it is how we have to do it, and we just have to accept how it is done and enjoy the racing that is currently on. Hammer, Gabby. So Gabby, the man on pole, brings in a frog emoji into the Twitch chat. Lovely. Yo, Gabby, congratulations on that pole position. What a lap. That was a 1:44.2, and that was pretty much 8/10 quicker than the rest of the pack. So, or at least from P2. Thanks, mate. I'll try and win it today, says Gabby in the Twitch chat. And he could well and truly do it. But just like how Hainsey is brought up in the Twitch chat, there's a lot of issues that could happen. A lot. Turn 1, you could get dive bombed into. If you're able to survive and you're able to extend the gap, you need to make a good strategy. It's only a 1-stop. Because of it being 25%, oh, it's moved up to 22%. Are we doing the 50% race after all? Is it actually going to be a 50% race, or is it going to be 25%? Percent. It's percent. Hehehe, don't worry, because by the time you're in turn 1, I'm already 5 seconds in front, says Gabby in the Twitch chat. And it seems we're doing a 25% race, ladies and gentlemen, so that a 50% race, ladies and gentlemen. It seems the 25% has been scrapped. it seems majority of people are readying up now, so now we have an exciting race on our hands, and we go back to the original strategy, no longer the crappy one stop. I have my final drink. Clear my throat. Get ready for the first race of two, F1 and F2. We head to F2. 22 laps of action around Belgium, and it's going to be very exciting. Ainsley wishes Gabby good luck for the final time in the Twitch chat, but it's no longer about the Twitch chat. It's no longer looking at the usernames and what they have to say. It's about the racing that we are looking at. Will Gabby win the race from pole? Will it be Alfie in the Mercedes in P2? Will it be the man in last place? Just like how Daverapters was in last place but won in Silverstone. Are we going to see something like that happen at Spa? At the end of the day, it is Spa. Anything can happen. So, in 5 seconds, we head to the formation lap. And then eventually, for the final time, we race around Spa for F2. So waiting for final players to finish up their strategy, whatever ties they're starting on. Another 29 second timer has begun. 15 seconds. It seems my first timer was a fraudulent timer. Hopefully this timer is the actual correct one. 8 seconds until the formation lap. Hopefully this is the actual one now. Timer disappears. There we go. Green flag runs. And eventually... Oh, doesn't seem the lights are going to pop up. But it is formation lap time here at Spa. Okay. It is formation lap here at Spa, and I do beg that those lights turn on. I do beg those lights turn on. Otherwise it's going to be very confusing for me to say it's lights out. It's going to be a very confusing time. But enough about lights and enough about if they're going to go out. It's about the drivers and where they will finish and where they are starting. Gabby on pole position after dominating qualifying. Great job by him. It's your boy Alfie in P2. Both P1 and P2 on mediums, but by the time we reach P3, the McLaren of Jono on hard, so obviously going on a longer stint. He's the only one with I'm Dom in the Aston Martin who is doing that strategy for now. The Haas of Ultra also on the mediums, and if we go all the way down to P9 and P10, you see the Williams and Red Bull of IRT Kia and Olov doing soft compound strategies. So, everyone warms up their tyres. And Aston Martin having a spin into the barrier. And we definitely hope that doesn't happen in the race, because if that happens in the race, we are definitely seeing a safety car. So we need to make sure I'm Don can get those tyres up to temperature, so he definitely doesn't have to have that issue. Desert D reserving for the Ferrari, at least that's what I think. I could be wrong. On the medium compounds, just like majority of drivers. And let's go to it's Gabby. I was gonna say it's your boy Alfie, but it's Gabby in the Alfa Romeo, who goes into the final chicane without too much issue. Nice and clean. It's your boy Alfie follows behind, followed by Jono, who's actually at the back of the back of the pack, followed by House of Racing Rules. So it's Ultra, Deema, Pit, Brad, and everyone else who warms up their tires, gets them nice and roasty toasty, and Gabby is going to start 5 meters behind her grid slot. That's going his grid slot. It's going to be very interesting. You know what isn't interesting? Is that pretty much every driver is lining up on the grid. We're waiting for I'm Dom to get it done. It's not really a good one to look at the lights here. Now we do. 5 red lights. The lights go out. Oh, we have this issue again. 5 red lights. The lights go out. And it's pedal to the metal here at Spa, here for the Belgian Grand Prix. And down in the mid-pack, AlphaTauri and a lot of the other drivers seem to be fighting away immediately. And no collisions are made. We say that, but the Mercedes of the Mercedes, the Aston Martin, the AlphaTauri all involved in a crash. And that sends them in a downward spiral down the pack. And that is not a good start to their race, who started actually at a decent position. Unlucky for them. Alright, the Ferrari of Desert D currently P10, lacking behind the rest of the pack, but getting a decent slipstream. And up into the podium positions, we can see Ultra fighting away with It's Your Boy Alfie in the Ferrari. Gabby gets away safe without any damage, without any issues, and gets away smoothly. Jono has had a crash, and that sees Jono in the wall, but he's not out of the session. But if I'm not wrong, that's a virtual safety car. 5-second penalties for people like Desert D and IRT Kia, and we go to a virtual safety car. Chaos on the first lap, neutralized by the FIA. Very chaotic start. Wow. So everything can go back to net zero now. No one retired, luckily enough, and now we go to VSC. We're not sure when VSC ends, but we know VSC is on. So Gabby stays in P1. It's Your Boy Alfie stays in P2. Ultra goes up a position, up into P3. Dima Pitbrad didn't have the greatest of starts, down to P4. Marco does well. Let's see the actual people who went up positions and down. So Ultra went up a position up into P3. Dima Pitbrad went up a position up into P4. Marco went up 3 positions up into P5. IRT Kia with 4 positions after Scotty Boy and Olav and I'm Dom all come into the pits. And something else I need to bring up, VSC is no longer happening, so it is green flag running here at Spa once again. We'll switch from the overtakes to the tyres, and now spectating Jono, IRT Kia in the Red Bull has had a spin or some type of collision. Will Smoke Wisp get past the Red Bull? Maybe stunned, and maybe he'll be able to get an easy overtake here, and maybe not. AlphaTauri might have to settle for P9 on the P8 Red Bull, who's had some type of collision, also has a penalty. Dima Pitbrad in the Mercedes, currently not gaining in IRT Kia, has had a spin, and he has destroyed his front wing on that barrier. Rather, that was a collision with the AlphaTauri or something more. There goes Scotty Boy in the Alfa Romeo. Smoke Whip in the AlphaTauri, way past now. And wait, that's Desert D out. Desert D out, and that's a massive collision by the Ferrari. And now Chaos has been neutralized again, this time with a full-on safety car. And something's happened with the Ferrari of Desert D, some type of spin or collision with the driver that has seen the car get absolutely wrecked. And you can see the Ferrari just before it disappears into the void. So what has happened with the Ferrari there? Chaos on the first lap. IRT Kia now looks like a turret without the front wing, and obviously would have helped with a decision by the FIA, but it seems the main decision came down to the Ferrari of Desert D, who is now out of the race. and unfortunate times. We are only on lap 2 and safety car has already been deployed, and through it all, Gabby in the Alfa Romeo stays in P1, hasn't been affected, hasn't need to fight too hard. It's your boy Alfie stays in P2, Ultra in P3, Dima stays in P4, Marco in P5, Jono in P6. And yeah, it's all been neutralized. Most people staying in the position they were originally in. I'm Dom comes into the pits, that sees Olov overtake him, and IRT Kia will follow I'm Dom behind into the pits as well. May as well see one of the pit stops done. So get the medium compounds on that Red Bull, also switch it with that front wing. And that is the green light from the pit crew, and the Red Bull comes out of the pits. So, interesting times here at Spa, here at Formula 2. And once again, the chaos has been neutralized with a safety car deployed by the FIA. And so now, it's a question about what's next. Most drivers who are separate will eventually catch up. Let's go down to the AlphaTauri of Smoky Whip, who is the closest to the pack, and eventually catches up. Then we see the Alfa Romeo of Scotty Boy, who is not too far behind. Then the Williams, then the Aston Martin, then eventually the Red Bull of IRT Kia, who's not had a fun race so far, but can still make it up because it's only 3 laps into the race so far. And it seems the historic race of Spa is taking a toll on some people already. Desert D retires from the session, the first one to do it, and that brings out the safety car. IRT Kia destroyed their front wing, making it look like the car was a turret. And to be fair, not too many overtakes were made throughout that gap between the VSC exiting and the safety car deploying, except for a couple of pits. So more people are on the hard compounds, no one is on soft compounds anymore. Obviously I'm Dom and IRT Kia have only just started their first laps on it, that's why they're so far behind. It seems some movement in the midfield, mainly because Jono comes into the pits, so he falls down, and I'm Dom will get past him, so will IRT Kia. Maybe not. It's really about what the McLaren pit crew can do. They are switching a front wing, so it should be that for the Red Bull of IRT Kia as well. Eventually the green light from the pit crew comes out, and that is Jono coming out of the pits now. So safety car obviously deployed, not much to pay attention to. I guess it's really about everything becoming net zero again, everyone closing in their gaps, and then eventually we get going again. It's going to be interesting if It's Your Boy Alfie can pick up the pace in the Ferrari, make up a couple of moves, and then eventually maybe pick up that lead. But it seems Gabby has had control of this race so far, hasn't had any issue with fighting anyone, had a clean start, clean first couple of corners, didn't get into any incidents, stayed away from any trouble from anyone else, and overall has kept it clean for most of the race. So very good job from the Alfa Romeo of Gabby, but what can It's Your Boy Alfie, and maybe even people like Ultra and Dima, Pit Brad, and pretty much everyone that gets to the safety car line, which everyone does now. The McLaren of Jono and IRT Kia have finally caught up. And I'm Dom as well. And the Red Bull going a bit wide through Pouon. And it seems Ultra falls down to P5 and obviously can regain position there. It's pretty obvious. Illegal overtake through safety car is an immediate regain of position for the Haas. So the question is, when will the safety car come back into the pits? And we say that perfectly because now safety car is in this lap. FIA have pulled the trigger. So now the temporary green flag is out. Now it comes down to Gabby to pull that trigger, to step on the throttle and get going once again. When will they do it? It seems the Alfa Romeo is catching up to the safety car, not wasting any time at all. Let's go down to Team Pit Brad here to get an idea on how a couple of cars will get going. You know, let's go to It's Your Boy Alfie. What can Gabby do? Going at the very last second, it seems, and Gabby has pulled that trigger now. Green flag rolls, and it is racing once again here at Spa. Gabby gets away cleanly into turn 1, has no overtake, but it seems It's Your Boy Alfie may be gaining, is going to get a decent slipstream through here. Smoky Whip getting into a bit of battles with the rest, maybe just falling down the pack. Let's go back up to the Ferrari. Are we going to see a very decent slipstream? We're going to see stuff just like 2019. Here comes It's Your Boy Alfie up the kennel straight, and we have a yellow flag. The Williams of Olav has had a crash or some type of spin. It seems it doesn't seem to be any damage, and that has not gone very well. One moment, everyone. Apologies for my lack of talking. We are back, and the Ferrari of It's Your Boy Alfie does overtake the Alfa Romeo of Gabby, and Gabby may be looking to get some type of switchback, some type of move back on the Ferrari. May be able to make the move now. No, he can't, and we are seeing some intense fighting. Down the pack we see Dima Pit Brad not close enough to the Haas, but you know what? That Haas is getting very close to the Ferrari and very close to the Alfa Romeo of Gabby and It's Your Boy Alfie. And there's Marco Angelo falling down a position or two, seeing the Alfa Romeo of Scotty Boy in P5 decently up. So then we see the Alfa Romeo of Scotty Boy fighting away with the Williams, and I have to mute my mic once again, or maybe not. We continue on here at Spa, and Dima Pitbrad seems to not be able to gain any time. The Alpha Tauri of Smoky Wisp comes into the pits, and maybe we're about to see a reverse overtake. The Alfa Romeo getting a decent slipstream. I'm Dom's out. I'm Dom's out of the session. And where has he had that collision there? Smoky Whip is the closest to it, and it seems the Aston Martin has had some type of collision just up at Radion, and that has not gone very well. No VSC or safety car deployed. We continue on. It's Your Boy Alfie still in P1. It seemed Gabby couldn't get a decent enough slipstream, but this time he's gonna send it down the inside at Puon. What can It's Your Boy Alfie do? He's gonna stay wheel to wheel. He's gonna stay neck and neck, and eventually goes into the next corner, trying to stay ahead, and great fighting from the F2 drivers, but a bit of contact has ruined that little battle, and it seems Gabby has regained position from It's Your Boy Alfie. It's the Alfa Romeo this time round who takes the lead on lap 6. Haas of Ultra getting even closer, and I apologize if I've missed out on any potential overtakes. I'm going to quickly look through here. The McLaren of Jono may be getting a potential move, and Gabby and It's Your Boy Alfie fighting away again, and this time they're going to bang wheels, and what a great fight we are seeing. Here comes the Haas of Ultra though, who's going to get a decent slipstream, and what can he do? He's going to send it down the inside of the Alfa Romeo of Gabby. That's what he's going to do, but Ultra is going to get a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to potentially screw up the strategy that he was hoping for. And the Mercedes of Dima Pitbrad is also getting closer. So let's go to Gabby, because it may be go time again for a slipstream. But maybe not this time round. He's going to get DRS. He's going to have ERS. Is he going to make the move? Make it down the inside. Isn't close enough for the move. Ultra up into P3. Dima Pitbrad falls down. Jono up into P5. Olav is out of the race. Olav is out of the race, and hopefully we can see what happens. There's a safety car that's deployed, and that must be a big incident. Hopefully the Alpha Tauri can get there in time so we can see what's happened. But it's pretty much at the identical corner that I'm Dom has retired at, over at Radion. And I think we are going to see what happened. And yeah, just a collision with the barrier, as you can see, all puffed up and destroyed. And that is a second victim of Radion. and obviously some kick of oversteer or some type of kick of the rear, and Olav in the Williams is out of this race. Unfortunate. Or in the Red Bull, I'm not sure. Unfortunate, but it is the second safety car in not too many laps of a difference. So once again, the chaos is switched back to net zero, ladies and gentlemen. Ferrari, your boy Alfie obviously has switched positions with the Alfa Romeo of Gabby, and we did say in the first safety car, would your boy Alfie have the pace, would he have the jump to make the move on Gabby? And yes, he did. He got the move done, and for a couple of laps he stayed in P1. We say that, but your boy Alfie comes into the pits, followed by the Haas of Ultra, and followed by the Mercedes of Dima Pitbread. So now, let's see the pit stop of the Mercedes. Nice and tight, nice and clean. The Ferrari comes out in front of anyone else. Obviously, the Haas has the longest pit lane time and gets ahead of the Mercedes. Not really, because he was already ahead of it. Olav leaves the session. The Williams of Marco Angelo also comes into the pits, and that's everyone on their first pit stops done. So let's go to stops now. So, majority of people have stopped except for one man, and that is Gabby, the man in the Alfa Romeo. And that does not look very good for the Alfa Romeo driver, because the McLaren of Jono, who has not got a penalty, has just come through the grid, has done his stop on the medium compounds, and is now probably gonna take P1 virtually, because Gabby still needs to box. What? This has happened out of nowhere. And Jono, honestly, respect to Jono. He was in P9 at one point. I think had a spin, had damage, but now look at him. In P2 and virtually in P1, and Alfa Romeo have had a much better time, it seems, because Scotty Boy's going to take P2. IRT Kia is going to finish off the podium positions, and everyone's going to go up a position because Gabby still needs to box. And wow, very interesting times here at Spa, and it seems it's gone all horribly wrong for Gabby. We said just before this race started, it all takes one bad strategy for the race leader to lose that lead and drop down multiple positions. And when I say multiple, they're going to drop down every single position because of safety car. This is the worst outcome for the Alfa Romeo that they can possibly have. And yeah, Gabby has no other choice but to box. So watch his name fall down all the way to P9. And now, I'm sure Gabby will be able to catch up to the rest of the grid because of safety car. So the Alfa Romeo is lucky on that end. But at the same time, Gabby has to make up 8 other positions if he wants to make it back up into P1. So this has not gone well strategy-wise for the Alfa Romeo. But you know what race has gone well? The man who is in the McLaren, it is Jono. And in my opinion, it's slightly unexpected, which makes House of Racing ever more enjoyable to watch, and F2 ever more enjoyable to watch as well, because an unexpected person to take P1 has happened here at Spa, and it's exciting to see. Obviously, safety car sees Gabby catch up to the rest of the field, so it's going to be interesting what he can do from that point. We'll have to make sure to follow that. So now we can take away that pit stop telemetry, because we know that that is all done now. So for now, the penalties can be applied. Actually, you know what? No. tyres can be applied. And Jono in P1, in the McLaren, calms the mood. He leads the pack in this safety car. And will the safety car come in this lap? Unsure. Scotty Boy in the Alfa Romeo, right behind, may be able to get vengeance for Gabby and still pick up a win for the Alfa Romeo team. Still pick up decent points for the constructors. And yep, safety car is in this lap. We get going. By the time it reaches lap 10 at the top of your corner on the left hand side, IRT Kia, the man in P3, the man in the Ricardo situation right now. Scotty Boy got very close to the McLaren of Jono, bumping wheels at one point. But it's up to Jono to pull that trigger. When we get going, IRT Kia is pulling over to the side of the road. And why has the Red Bull done that? Why has the Red Bull of IRT Kia done that? So now the Red Bull comes into the pits. And I'm sorry, we've missed out at the restart, but that is very confusing. The McLaren of Jono continues to stay in P1. Scotty Boy stays in P2. It's Your Boy Alfie stays in P3. The Haas of Ultra stays in P4. No one switches positions. We say that, but now look at the fighting on the Alfa Romeo and Ferrari of Scotty Boy, and It's Your Boy Alfie goes into the chicane nice and fast, but it seems Scotty Boy has had to give up position because there's just not enough room, and if he kept going would have rammed into the back of the Ferrari. And IRT Kia seems to have picked up another penalty. Maybe I was just imagining something there, and it seems the closest battle we are seeing right now is there, unless we go down to the midfield where we see the other Alfa Romeo of Gabby get up 2 positions on safety car restart, gets past the Red Bull, who had a random reason to come into the pits onto softs, and then the AlphaTauri of Smoky Whip gets passed by the Alfa Romeo of Gabby, and maybe about to have their third overtake, because he also goes purple, and that's the McLaren of Jono, who has pulled over. And what is happening with the drivers? That sees Gabby launch up into P6 and still getting a decent slipstream from the Williams here, so still a decent opportunity. Let's go up to the front, because the Alfa Romeo of Scotty Boy and the Haas of Ultra fighting away there. Decent slipstream between the couple of them. But it seems Scotty Boy didn't get a decent getaway. It seems Scotty Boy's really struggling, because here comes Dima Pitbrad trying to make the move stick. Can't make it stick though, so your current top 3 stay as they are, and Gabby hasn't been able to catch up to that Williams. Maybe going up Eau Rouge, eventually into Radion, and eventually up the Canal straight. Yes, he does. That's the Williams of Marco, nearly spinning, able to catch the car, but that's Gabby up into P5 as well. Great recovery so far from the Alfa Romeo, and once again more fighting, and more fighting causes chaos. Apologies for the mute, ladies and gentlemen. That is Scotty Boy out of the session, and hopefully we can see him again. Yeah, there you go. He's in the gravel. He's had a collision with probably It's Your Boy Alfie, who also takes the lead of the race. But was it worth it? Jono falls down to P7, but it seems it was because he boxed, so obviously the late pit stop by Jono. And after every collision, after everything's been done, and after the virtual safety car has been deployed, It's Your Boy Alfie leads. The Haas of Ultra has a time penalty but is in P2. Dima Pitbrad in P3, Gabby in P4, P5 is the AlphaTauri of Smoke Whip, Marco Angelo P6, P7 is Jono, and P8 is IRT Kia, and now P9, who is now retired, is the Alfa Romeo DRS reactivated because VSC is now no longer activated, and it's your boy Alfie has launched ahead of the rest of the pack, doesn't have any penalties to deal with, and so he will cruise into the sunset for now. Unless Ultra can get past and then create a gap, it's looking pretty good for the Ferrari of Alfie. And Dima Pitbrad is going to get a really decent DRS activation plus slipstream, going to go into the chicane. Ultra's going to try and fight this back. Remember, Ultra is the one that caused Scotty Boy to retire. So, what the Alfa Romeo Constructors Championship definitely taking a bit of a hit there. But Gabby fighting up, because look where Gabby is. Fighting, potentially with that Haas, pushing the rear of the Haas, getting a nice slipstream, going into the braking zone, into Pouon, nearly goes a bit wide, has to outbrake himself, and Gabby just isn't close enough for now. Let's go down to Marco and the Williams, just not close enough to Smoky Whip to make any type of move, but Smoky Whip is out of ERS by the flashing rear light on his car. The McLaren of Jono, who was up into P1, obviously had to box at some point. Those mediums were old, to be fair, and he's down to P7, and IRT Kia 2 laps on those softs is down in P8. So it's your boy Alfie, still cruising by nearly 1.5 seconds, and here comes the moves by Gabby on Ultra, and that is not clean. And that was not a clean move, and Dima Pitbrad comes into the pits. Only 4 lap old hard, so that is very confusing, and I think I can tell why the end plate on the front wing was destroyed. So unlucky by Dima Pitbrad, but he's gone past, unless it's a drive-through penalty because of VSC, which definitely could have been what it was, and we're missing out on action because here comes the Haas of Ultra, who's now been in multiple collisions with Gabby. Jono goes fastest, and Ultra backs out of the move. Obviously some type of illegal overtake must have taken place, and Smoky Whip gets overtaken by Marco Angelo because of the strong DRS that you feel at Spa. And it's your boy Alfie has pulled a hell of a gap, and here comes the Mercedes with a yellow flag. Something's happened. No, it's not the Mercedes, it's the AlphaTauri. And Smoke Whip is spun. That sends him down to P6, maybe more if Jono can... We say that maybe Jono could go up some positions. No, he's only going to drop. He has slammed his car into the barrier. There are only 7 drivers remaining. And that is it for Jono. He DNFs from the race. And that is a 3rd safety car in not even that many more laps from the second one and then the first one. Spa is chaos, or F2 is chaos, however you want to look at it, but it seems it's your boy Alfie may have to fight with Gabby again, because Gabby is in P2. Remember when I said Gabby was in P9 and maybe it would have been game over for Gabby? It could have been it's your boy Alfie and the Ferrari who could have won. Well, all 3 on the podium so far come into the pits. Marco stays out, making sure to follow Delta. He will get past them all, and Marco will lead this race for the first time in this season. So great job by Marco. Ultra comes into the pits. It's your boy Alfie is already done, so is the Alfa Romeo, eventually Haas follows behind. So when everything is said and done, obviously the AlphaTauri comes into the pits. IRT Kia, what is he going to do? He's going to go into the pits as well. A bit of a late cut there, doesn't get any track limits though, so that is pretty much majority of the grid boxing. You can see Marco Angelo's 6 laps on those hards, same with Dima Pitbrad. So it means that there's still a couple of drivers who may want to box, because compared to the rest of the pack, it's your boy Alfie, Gabby, Ultra, Smoke Whip, and IRT Kia. Everyone else are on clean. fresh tyres. But then you have Marco Angelo, who leads this race on 6-lap-old tyres on those hards, and the same goes for the Mercedes of Dima Pitbrad. Interesting times, definitely. So, everything becomes net zero again. Eventually, just like we've said multiple times now throughout this race, the chaos has been neutralized, the crashes have been cleaned, and everything becomes net zero. And now, it's a question about if the Williams and Mercedes box. Are they going to stay out until the very end, potentially win, but have dead tyres by the end of the race? Or is it your boy Alfie, who is currently in P3 and currently is virtually P1, be able to take the lead, gain a gap on Gabby, and then pull away with the win? Or is Gabby going to get past the Ferrari, who then has to get past both the Williams and Mercedes to pick up the lead? Or is it going to be the Haas of Ultra? Is it going to be Smoke Whip in the AlphaTauri? Is it going to be the Red Bull of IRT Kia? Anything can happen in Formula 2, just like from P8 to P12, the drivers who have DNF'd or have been purposely put into a crash by another driver. Unfortunate times definitely here at F2 for those drivers, but for the other drivers who are still driving, they have a mission at hand. The Williams has a mission at hand. Everyone has their own strategy and how they might win this race, but only one can cross that checkered flag before anyone else. And right now it's looking pretty good for it's your boy Alfie and Gabby, and maybe Marco, maybe it's Dima, maybe these hards can last the entire rest of the race, because right now it's definitely looking they ain't boxing again. So it's looking very interesting on who will win. So IRT Kia in the Red Bull comes up Eau Rouge through Rayon, eventually onto the canal straight, and pretty much catches up with the rest of the pack now. So everyone is now net zero. Everyone comes back to normal. Marco in P1, Dima in P2, it's your boy Alfie in P3, who is virtually P1, Gabby P4, Ultra P5, Smoke Whip P6, and Kia P7. After every collision, after everything's been happening, your current leader has a penalty, so does P2 of Dima Pitbrad, and what have we just seen? The Haas of Ultra has just crashed and is out of the session. I'm sorry to say it so casually, but that's just happened. The Haas of Ultra is out, and we have no footage to see it. And now we go from 7 drivers down to 6. Just when we thought, ladies and gentlemen, just when we thought we had seen it all, just when we thought we were net zero and safety car was going to come in the next lap or two, that safety car is definitely going to be extended, and we're definitely going to be out for a couple more laps. What has happened? And we say that, but it seems the stewards have magic cleaning hands, and we're going to get right away this lap. So, let's switch over to penalties. Tyres are no longer as big as of a concern anymore. 3-second time penalty for Marco, a 3-second time penalty for Dima, and a 3-second time penalty for IRT Kia down in P6, which is now last place. It's your boy Alfie in the Ferrari has the best opportunity so far, followed by Gabby. But can Marco lead and win? Gets not the greatest of exits, but it seems the Mercedes didn't get a great exit, and here comes it's your boy Alfie, who switches up into P2 like nothing even happened. Let's switch to Gabby, who is on fresh softs and gets past with absolutely no issue. And it definitely seems like we might not be waiting too long for the Ferrari to get past the Williams, and there isn't much that the Williams can do pretty much wheel to wheel. Now they're gonna go up the canal straight. Here comes, it's your boy Alfie into the chicane, and that is move done by the Ferrari. Great job. And Gabby has already made the move stick on Dima and now on Marco, and now we go back all the way from like from lap 8, I'd say. It's your boy Alfie leads Gabby in P2, but this time it's Gabby who's getting a really good run through here, and so maybe the fight between these drivers isn't up yet. Good slipstream. It's your boy Alfie maybe looking for the move to defend, but Gabby may be looking for the move to attack, and Marco has fallen down the rest of the grid, and it seems that Smoke Whip maybe has sent him wide, and the rest of the pack has helped keep him there, and Marco falls all the way down to P6 with a 3-second time penalty, so that is not helping his cause. It's your boy Alfie still in P1, followed by Gabby in P2, and it's unfortunate scenes for Marco Angelo, who falls down to P6 but doesn't feel any damage or anything. IRT Kia goes wide on that chicane, doesn't get any penalty, bangs wheels with Marco, and now he's down into P6. And the midfield, though they're not fighting, are pretty much just switching positions with everyone. So the AlphaTauri of Smoke Whip seems to not be in the clear, because that Mercedes is going to get DRS. You know who else is going to get DRS? The man who just went onto the grass. Actually, no DRS set because of safety car, but he's going to get a decent slipstream plus ERS going into the chicane. Seems to have a better exit this time round. And that, if I'm not wrong, was Dima Pitbrad having a collision with Smoke Whip, if I'm not wrong. And that has not gone well for the Mercedes. He's had a spin, and he's fallen down to P6. And it seems drivers are switching positions between P6, like we said before. And so now, a close battle in the midfield, to be fair. At least that's what it looks like on the track map. Obviously not what is actually happening. The Ferrari defending for his life on Gabby. Gabby obviously just has a bit more pace, and it seems no more pit stops for any more drivers. It's just pushed to the end. And it seems it's your boy Alfie will stay in P1 for now. It's your boy Alfie. Has he just got some... It's your boy Alfie maybe doesn't have any damage. Smoke Whip falls down to P4. He's had a spin at the final sector, and that is not going to look good for the AlphaTauri. Doesn't crash, doesn't get into a collision. Marco Angelo is now on a 6-second time penalty. IRT Kia goes up to P3. Marco Angelo really struggling to defend there, obviously. And so now it's a Red Bull, Alfa Romeo and Ferrari grid and podium, and right now IRT Kia is safe because Marco has a 6-second time penalty and Dima has a 3-second time penalty, and the AlphaTauri has needed to come into the pits. Chaos is the definition of Formula 2. Gabby now has DRS. This is gonna help him even more, and that's your P2 runner. Gabby in the Alfa Romeo hits the rear of the Ferrari and makes him spin, and that's going to be a 5-second gap. So the fight we were all expecting to be the main competition may have just slipped away from the Alfa Romeo, and it's your boy Alfie has kept his cool, has been able to keep his head down, has stayed in P1, had perfect defending for the most hand, and hasn't needed to struggle at all. And I'm sorry for keeping that menu up. Gonna have a quick drink because too much action is happening at once for me, ladies and gentlemen. And that is thirst quenching, and it's even worse for Gabby, because Gabby has gained time, nearly 6/10 in a couple of corners and a couple of straights. But here's the issue. Gabby now has a 3-second time penalty, and Smoke Whip, the only other man without a penalty, is 35 seconds behind the rest of the pack. So, are we seeing a guaranteed domination from a Ferrari? I mean, it wasn't exactly domination, but it's a guaranteed win maybe for the Ferrari of It's Your Boy Alfie, who has really shown his skill on the defending, but also on the attacking, while Gabby couldn't be patient enough, went for the move and hit the rear, spinning him out and going up Eau Rouge. Maybe it was just on my side of things, obviously. Gabby not having a fun time, obviously. Has regained that 7/10 that he once was able to get rid of, and that sees Gabby pretty much just at a downfall, like almost a stock market cryptocurrency falling all the way down to the very bottom. Gabby went from 0 to hero down to 0 again, and sorry, from hero to 0 to hero to 0 is the best way I'd put Gabby's race so far, and it has not gone exceptionally well in the later part of this race. Gabby with a 4-second gap, a 3-second time penalty, IRT with a 3-second time penalty, Marco with a 6-second time penalty, Dima with a 3-second time penalty, and Smoke Wisp, who is the only other person not with a penalty, is 35 seconds behind. So It's Your Boy Alfie is looking very comfortable right now. And that's not saying Gabby's race is over yet while going over the grass, but it's not over yet. It just means that it might be at a difficulty, and you know who else is at a difficulty? The man who's just spun and made his car look like a turret, because he has no front wing, and that's the Red Bull, who's obviously hit the barrier, had some type of collision with the driver, and that sees him down to P5, and Smoke Wisp is just not close enough. Dima Pitbrad having a bit of fighting with the Williams, and we're seeing some late action from Spa, and when we thought everything was calm and relaxed, here we see the Williams of Marco fighting with the Mercedes, but out of one single corner exit, it seems to have calmed down once again. The Mercedes just too quick for the Williams of Marco, and struggles through there, goes wide at Radion, and obviously that rear kicking out a lot for Marco. IRT Kia will be gaining a decent amount of time on that Williams, and Smoke Wisp still very far behind. It's Your Boy Alfie in the Ferrari has not been able to extend that gap. Actually, Gabby has now closed it even more. Well, went up a tenth, but overall closing that gap from 4.7 down to 3.8, back up to 4.2. It's honestly, it's not closing where it needs to be closed for Gabby to win. Plus needs a 3-second gap, so it's looking very good for the Ferrari. Dima Pitbrad in the Mercedes is currently in P3, 14 seconds behind P2, and with a 6-second time penalty, still gonna stay in P3, mainly because Marco has a 6-second time penalty as well. So, lots of penalties, lots of action, with only 6 drivers remaining, lots of chaos, and everything slowly calms down the more we continue to drive. And as you can see on that track map, everyone is spaced out by a decent mile. It's Your Boy Alfie in P1, Gabby in P2, which for the longest time the Ferrari and Alfa Romeo were having an incredible battle, but one mistake from Gabby and it has been downward spiral all the way from that. The Mercedes of Dima Pitbrad finishes off those podium positions so far. Definitely won't be picking up a P2 here, especially with that 6-second time penalty, but also because of the gap. Marco, 7 seconds more of a gap on Dima Pitbrad, also has a 6-second time penalty, so any fight that happened between the Williams and Mercedes would actually not be affected, because they both have the exact same time penalty. IRT Kia is not boxing, even though he definitely should, and his car will continue to look like a turret until the rest of the race. Smoke Wisp in the AlphaTauri in P6. He's gained a decent amount of time back, but it definitely won't be enough, and that barrier still flapping around. The stewards have not gone around to fix it yet. It's Your Boy Alfie in P1, Lap 21 of 22. It's the penultimate lap. We go around to the third sector for the penultimate lap, and this race is slowly but surely coming to a close. And there is a yellow flag, and that is Smoke Wisp out. And unfortunately we don't get to see anything because all the drivers are ahead of the AlphaTauri, and it happened so suddenly, so there's nothing we can do there. Obviously it must have been a snap of oversteer. It's the chicane going out of the Canal Straight, so nothing we can do there. Lap 22 of 22. It's the final lap of the race, so we may as well stick to a nice cockpit of this man. House of Racing Formula 2 division has been chaos for Spa. Has been a bit confusing and a bit hard to commentate at times. But one man, or at least two people, have been easy to identify and easy to watch. They had great fights between Gabby in the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari of It's Your Boy Alfie, but there was one man who has no penalties, who kept it clean in defending, who kept it clean in attacking, and keeps it clean around his final lap. And it's guaranteed, because that gap has continued to extend between P2 and that penalty there, with a 3-second time penalty. This win is pretty much guaranteed unless the Ferrari crashes and ruins it for himself. It's looking very good for It's Your Boy Alfie in the Ferrari, who has been obviously waiting for his win for a while. The Alfa Romeo of Gabby tried everything today, but couldn't get the job done, and unfortunately we'll have to stick with P2. Dima Pitbrad in P3 finishes off that, and obviously the 5 other drivers. So It's Your Boy Alfie in the third sector started P2, but he's gonna finish in P1. It has been clean from start to finish, defending and attacking. He's gonna see the checkered flag before any other driver. It's Your Boy Alfie wins the Belgian Grand Prix. He wins at Spa, and with domination stuck on his name. Great job from It's Your Boy Alfie, and Gabby's gonna finish in P2. Dima Pitbrad comes around the final corner, has a bit of oversteer, crosses the line in P3. That's your podium done. Marco in the Williams, P4. And it's been a bit of a messy race, but Marco kept his head down, even with penalties applied. He finishes P4, and IRT Kia, who will finish looking like a turret, comes around the final chicane. Nice and, well, as tight as you can be with no front wing, sees the checkered flag last, and that is it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Obviously we still have the podium celebration to get to, because your winner was the Ferrari, and IRT Kia will get driver of the day in the race because of him making up so many positions, because everyone else DNF'd. So, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of a painful race to commentate, but you know what isn't painful for one man? The man who's hitting the gritty, the Ferrari of It's Your Boy Alfie, will dance however long he wants to, because he steps on P1 for the first time in F2 in House of Racing, and he does it in style. Sprays the bubbly, sprays the champagne everywhere, to the drivers, to the fans, to his team, and It's Your Boy Alfie has won the Belgian Grand Prix, has won here at Spa with decent domination. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So, as a summary, that was chaos. To commentate, to watch, and chaotic is the word I'd put. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Spa done and out of the way. My name has been Jamie Perry, but you can call me Helix. I will see you for Formula 1 with Ryan or Wicked Red. Goodbye, and I will see you at 5 PM GMT. Adios, goodbye, and see you soon.